Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. Life is a science fiction horror movie directed by Daniel Esporoso, who also directed films like Child 44 and Safe House. And it tells the story of a space station crew on the International Space Station who recover a sample from Mars that they hope will contain evidence of life on Mars. I'll go a little bit deeper into the story soon, but from my perspective, it almost feels like we're being spoilt just in these last few years with really good, intelligent, intellectual sci-fi movies. And by that I mean movies like The Martian, Interstellar, The Arrival, even things like Edge of Tomorrow. We're getting some really high quality science fiction at the minute, and this is no exception. Life. I was a little bit worried, certainly after watching the trailer, that this was going to go down all the traditional horror tropes that you would expect in a movie like this. When you watch the trailer, if you've seen the trailer and you're going to go in and watch this movie, you kind of think Alien. This is the Alien movie. It looked very much like the original Alien from the 70s. And whereas it does borrow heavily in some respects, or it certainly is inspired by that, this is very much its own movie. And a lot of that is down to the direction, the effects, which are stunning, really, really very good, and the superb high quality cast that we have on display here. We've got Jake Gyllenhaal, we've got Rebecca Ferguson and Ryan Reynolds, to mention just a few. But everybody gives a really, really good performance in this movie. Top-notch cast. So, yeah, the story basically starts with that, what I said earlier. They recover this sample from Mars, and the scientist on board discovers life. And it's at the beginning, it's kind of only microscopic, as you can see there. And they start doing these little experiments on it and these tests with it. And there's like an error that goes wrong in the lab, and they think they've killed it because it's dormant and it won't move. So he thinks that if he prods it with electricity, I know when you say it out loud it sounds really stupid. Why they didn't think it was a bad idea in the movie, I don't know, but it might bring it back to life, and that's what he does. But it doesn't go according to plan. When he prods it with electricity, it senses that it's being attacked, so it attacks back. And from then on in, it's survival of the fittest. The creature gets out. It attempts to take the crew down one by one in differing ways. It's clear that it's quite intelligent, this creature. And it kind of outwits them almost with everything that they attempt, and they can't really find a way to kill it. But the one thing they really cannot do is allow this creature to get back on Earth. So they're fighting desperately to A, save themselves, and B, prevent this creature from getting to Earth. So that's the story, and that's all I'm prepared to say on it. Needless to say, I really enjoyed this movie. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, despite the cast. I just genuinely thought this was going to be like another Alien clone, but it wasn't. This felt to me more like a realistic approach to how we would potentially come into first contact with an alien species. And it would be on the microscopic level probably. And due to human error, or human stupidity you could call it, by them making an error, A, thinking they've killed it, and then B, prodding it with electricity, it's first, as ours would be on their planet, if someone prodded us with electricity, our first response would be to attack in defence. And that's what this creature does. It attacks. It's out of its comfort zone. It's in a new environment it knows nothing about. This is a new species. So it goes on the defensive, and its first initial instinct is to survive. So you can't really blame this alien creature for doing the things that it does, because that's just exactly what we would do as well. So I really like that approach, the fact that it doesn't just kill indiscriminately, it's doing it to survive. And so you kind of don't have them similar feelings as you would in just like a nameless alien movie where there's this creature running around with huge teeth tearing shreds out of people, because you want that thing to get killed. And whereas you don't really want this thing to survive, you understand its motivations. And I thought that was a really nice take on this movie. You understood what was happening, why things were happening the way they were, and the fact that some of the decisions that these astronauts made were really stupid, and some of the things they decided to do was really stupid. And I kind of appreciated the fact that it went down this realistic route. So it does give you a really good horror sci-fi movie here, and it is genuinely frightening at times and very, very tense. It wasn't a gnarly teeth monster fest by any stretch. It was a really, really cleverly made, beautifully filmed movie with great effects, great cast, and I have to say I highly recommend this movie. It was a real surprise to me, and it is definitely worth a watch.